Day 2 is in the books. Welcome to our CrossFit Games Live recap show. I'm your host, Lauren Kalil, alongside co-host Dex Hopkins and Preslie Hirsch. Our recap shows, they're brought to you by the U.S. Army Warrior Fitness Team, which provides awareness of Army opportunities while serving. Team members are active duty soldiers that compete in CrossFit and strongman, strong woman competitions, both nationally and internationally. The U.S. Army's Warrior Fitness Team is one of 6 recruiting outreach teams that allows soldiers to pursue a passion while serving. Check out our description for more info. Day 2 in the books, and there was no rest day for anybody.
No rest day, but it was kind of nice to have not as much craziness as yesterday. It was like a little baby amount of fitness, which was good.
For the individuals, at least we had adaptive divisions. We had age groups, individuals a little bit. They had a later start, so a lot of people got to sleep in. Well, some people at least.
Yeah, super nice.
Did you guys sleep in?
I was walking around the Coliseum area and out the spectator area, and lots of people were working out. So that was cool to see. I feel like a lot of people watched some of the adaptive, watched some of the age group stuff, and then got their own fitness in. So that was cool to see.
And Dex, I know you were up early doing some like spectator experience kind of stuff.
Yeah, we had, so CompTrain had a fun run through, is it Olin? Olin Park?
Olin Park, yep.
Yeah,
through Olin Park,
Yeah, Olin Park started at 6 a.m. And like, if spectators aren't taking advantage of that stuff to go and, you know, rub elbows with these coaches and the professionals that oversee the people you're watching, if you get a chance to go do that, man, take advantage of it, because it's truly does not come around except this time of year where you can just run across the street and do that. So, and at 6 a.m., perfect time.
Better time. Yeah, with the sun coming up.
Yeah.
I was walking around and the seminar staff will teach you how to get a muscle up. There's like all kinds of cool things going on in the vendor area, and they'll work one-on-one with you with your gymnastics. So tons of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, and we have a bunch of those articles. Preslie, I know you wrote a couple of them too, of athlete experience, even great places to go get brunch, coffee, all the good stuff.
For sure. Yeah, those are all on our website, but we have a whole guide on our main page for the games about where to eat, where to get coffee, where to get craft beer. So if you need things to do in between the events, we have all that up there for you.
Plenty to do. It definitely seems like it was busier today than yesterday. More spectators are coming to the Alliant Energy Center, and we're like full steam ahead now.
Yeah, 3 days of fun coming up.
3 full days. You excited?
No, I'm pumped. Well, and then like today being the weird day of like having to have an event that was planned for yesterday for the individuals, I think that drew more people, like Preslie was saying, to the adaptive and the master stuff. So that was very cool. Our age group stuff. So yeah, which that's a fortunate thing that comes out of that. So silver linings.
Love the silver linings. So we'll get to the age groups, masters, teen in just a bit. First, we want to take a look at the individual leaderboards. So first, after today, some shift ups on the leaderboard. In first place, Mal O'Brien scooted herself up, followed by Emma Lawson, Tia-Clair Toomey. We'll definitely get to her conversation in a bit. Ariel Lowen, Danielle Brandon, and then 6 through 10, Christy O'Connell, Haley Adams, Madeline Garnes, Alexis Raptis, and Gabby Magala. What do you guys think? Today had that 2-parter.
I think everybody was surprised, like the run jerk event. I don't know why in my brain the field I thought was longer. So it was more trips back and forth than I thought. And you could not plan for the heat that the rain kind of brought, right? The cool weather from yesterday was gone. It was beating down on them. And I don't think anybody could plan for kind of how heavy the legs were going to the platform. But I guessed 16 to 20 would be the money numbers for the high-end people. And that was right, but the flow of it was different. I think the best window was almost the first one, because you could just see people just fade away, even the people that paced it right, like me and James talked about yesterday.
Yeah, well, especially we talked about the topic yesterday of Tia-Clair Toomey and kind of a slow start for her, something that nobody really expected. But just pulling up the leaderboard, looking at the point spread, she was able to earn several points back. I think she was first in the second part. The shoulder to overhead part, able to earn those points back. What are your guys' thoughts on Tia from today and her performance?
I think it's super exciting. I know that some people yesterday were wondering if something was wrong or kind of starting to counter out really early on. But I had a feeling she would come back with a little bit of vengeance, and I feel like she definitely did.
No, especially today. Like I had I mean, I think she hit the 18 like right on the head. I think that's the rep she got to win that one. But yeah, man, I mean, it's you don't get to see her come from behind often, so that's going to be a cool weekend to me. Her clawing back is like a place you're not used to seeing, and it honestly looks like everybody else in the field's feeding off that, kind of trying to box her out. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah. All right. Looking at the men's leaderboard, we'll start with 1 through 5. Ricky Garrard stays on top, followed by Justin Medeiros, Roman Krenikov, Lazar Jukic, Patrick Vellner, and then scooting 6 through 10, Jeffrey Adler, Nick Matthew, Noah Olson, Dalen Pepper, and Uldis Upanix.
I like the gas pedal you put on that. That was
Did you?
Yeah, you committed to that. This is I want to say usual suspects. Noah's up there. I'm pumped for Dallin. That's why I said I had Dallin picked to crush the shoulder overhead one, and that was kind of the tell to me that the heat was kind of playing a factor and the amount of turns. Right, I thought that would not cancel out runners, so to speak, but it would make guys that weren't like a traditional, a 600, 800 push really hard would juice them up. All the turns I thought would kind of make that a different workout, and it was just the heat it looked like, man. But yeah, I'm excited for the young fellow. Looks like he's climbing. Noah looks really good, so all the homies are doing great.
What about Ricky Garrard staying on top? Preslie, we talked a little bit about this yesterday going into today. Dex is pumped. What are your thoughts on seeing him stay up there on top of the leaderboard?
I'm stoked, man. I'm a big Ricky fan. I think, I'm just a big believer in second chances. And, you and I were talking about this over breakfast. And I think that, the example I gave is if you were told that you couldn't do your favorite thing for 4 years, you probably would find another hobby, do something else. It would be really hard to stay motivated and stay at it. So I just am really stoked to see Ricky not only come back to the sport. I believe he's the first one to serve his ban and then come back. So I think that's super cool. And it's really neat to see how the hard work that he's been putting in over the last few years is paying off.
Sure. So I just want to then also screen share the actual leaderboard. Those are the results that we had as of about 10 minutes ago, but things can shift. A couple people in the comment section wondering if it's finalized. As of this point, this is what we have.
They were not.
We will continue to monitor the leaderboard to see if anything does shift. But while we're on the men's side, I do want to point out, what are your thoughts on Patty Vellner, a 35th on that second part of the workout, the jerk section today?
He had a weird catch on one, and I don't know if it was just pushing the envelope because Pat's shoulder endurance, I mean, he said last night he's a CrossFitter through and through, but 10 years of gymnastics kind of puts it on you. That just sinks into you, and you saw it on the dip part. But I saw him catch one weird. They had it on the live feed. I don't know if that was rolled into the next round and just kind of capped out the shoulder overhead for him. But, hopefully he's okay. But it looked like just a little mishap, just a little misstep on something where he had a tiny window, and it cost you a lot in those.
Sure. And I mean, he's somebody that, even with that, he's still in 5th place. Lots of workouts to happen, a lot of time for things to adjust. Before we get to the age groups, we want to bring on a games athlete herself. We've seen her many times in Madison and at the games. We have Carrie Pierce. How's it going, Carrie?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. What a beautiful background. You enjoying the sun outside?
I am. I got to sneak away and I get a little bit of sunshine right now. So figured I would take advantage of it while I can.
Different position than you normally have at the games. How's the adjustment to working on more of the business side of things that you're doing right now in the games in comparison to being an athlete at the games?
For me, it's been really cool so far. I've got to meet a lot of fans. So I know a lot of the people that normally see me on the competition floor. I got to talk to them face to face, which is really cool because usually competing, you don't get that kind of time with the fans. And, it's been cool having people ask me about the events and the programming and everything. So it's just been cool to interact more with the fans rather than just see you.
Dex, would you agree?
Carrie's like the reigning fittest American woman ever, I think, so far, right? We can add that to the intro. So, yeah, of course I want to come up and talk to you,
Yeah, thank
homie.
you.
Yeah, so it's good every time I see you, man. I like having you around.
Right back at you, Dex.
Yeah.
Carrie, what are your thoughts on some of the workouts that we've seen? Are any of them giving you a little bit of FOMO, or are you like, hey, I'm good at being on this side of the fence this year?
I was like, of course they're gonna have like these higher skill gymnastic workouts when I do get out. And like for me, my jerk is like 50 pounds more than my clean. I'm like, why didn't we ever get jerks from the blocks when I was competing?
That's awesome.
But I thank you. It's just cool to see just like a little bit of a change in the programming. And like I said, some more gymnastic stuff. I'll be interested to see what's programmed the rest of the weekend. I know, there's the pig flips and the run and the carry. So that'll be a fun event and just a grudging one as well.
What are your thoughts when you see the programming this year, at least the events that we've seen thus far, so gymnastics heavy? Is that where you think you see the sport moving, or could we expect it to balance out over the weekend?
I definitely think it'll balance out over the weekend. I think, just starting the weekend with some different moves and, if athletes aren't able to do as well in the beginning, but able to keep it together and, mentally stay in it for the rest of the weekend. And if there's more familiar things, it kind of shows their mental toughness to be able to overcome unfamiliar circumstances.
Carrie, yesterday we were talking with James about how there was supposed to be a rest day today, and then they didn't actually get the opportunity to rest. Do you feel like that's really going to impact them into the rest of the weekend, or because it was only one event, do you think it won't make a huge difference?
I definitely think it will too, mainly just because yesterday they didn't get a chance to rest in the middle of the day when, today they would get to rest where they had to stay at the venue pretty much all day because of the rain delay. So you couldn't get that mental downtime. So you had to be turned on yesterday and then you had to turn it on again today. And then you have to stay in it throughout the entire weekend. So honestly, I think obviously physically they're all very, very fit. But I feel like it'll take a little bit of a mental toll on some of the athletes just having to turn it on again today when normally it would be a day to mentally break. But, that's why they're the best of the best. They're going to overcome and adapt and, keep fighting no matter what the circumstances are.
Is it difficult to sometimes have that rest day though, to like then mentally get back into it and keep your body warm and ready to go?
It can be a little difficult, but for me, like, I always enjoy taking my mind off of it. Like, for a Thursday, if I didn't have to compete, you had to go for the opening ceremonies, but then afterward, I would probably just be out and let myself, like, watch some TV and relax and just focus on other things and mentally reset so that I'm hungry to go and compete again on Friday. Similar to training, cut out training on Sunday, don't even go to the gym just so I can mentally be ready to attack that next day. So I think it can be nice to just get away, reset, and then be ready to attack Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Are you going to join in on the Capitol workout?
I'm at my booth like basically the whole weekend. So yeah, we have a powerhouse booth, so I'll be there unfortunately, but it'll be fun, I know.
We were talking yesterday about how we have a lot of really young athletes in the field this time and how they've actually denoted like rookies on the leaderboard for one of the first times, which is super cool. What advice do you have for some of the younger athletes or people that are competing here for the first time?
Yeah, it's been so cool to see the rookies and, just see them go out there and attack workouts. I think especially like my rookie year, honestly, I wish I would have paid more attention to nutrition and properly fueling yourself and just making sure you're on top of that. I feel like I did not eat enough and it definitely like played a role in my performance. And just focusing on one event at a time, like what is ahead of you. Don't worry about what's later in the weekend, whether it's going to be a good event or a bad event for you. Just take whatever you have right ahead of you, focus on that, do your best, enjoy every second of it, soak it up before you go on the competition floor. You're one of the fittest on earth. Like that's already such an incredible accomplishment in itself. And I feel like for a lot of the athletes, this will be a learning experience. And then they're going to come back next year and just continue to be that much better.
Carrie, not competing this year, does this give you any urge to come back as an individual, start a team? Like, do you get any feelings that you want to come back to compete in some capacity?
Maybe, definitely not individual. I tell people, I'm like, I mentally was like ready to be done. And I was at Wadapalooza, I was at MAC, and then now being at the games. I'm 33 and I see all these the rookies and the young athletes that are doing incredible. And I'm like, yep, I'm I'm good where I'm at. It does like spark a little bit of interest for team. I'm still not mentally quite there yet, but when I am at these events, it does look fun and just something totally different and would be a new challenge. So it's maybe thinking of that, but not 100% there yet. So we'll see.
You guys have the makings in the gym. You, Maddie, yeah, y'all can. Oh yeah, there's plenty
Right,
of
we
girls too. Yeah, y'all just flip coins.
Meeny, meeny, miny, mo.
That's it.
Okay, so if you could create your own super team, like let's not even think about the rules. Let's not think about the location.
The pressure.
Oh, none of those. You could create your own team. Do you want to like throw out some names of who you would love to compete with in the team division?
I don't know. I mean, I do have names kind of in mind. Well, like we have Alex Guzan, who is a rookie this year, and she's doing incredible. And we actually like joked around about a team last year, but I was like, now she's doing so well. I don't think Justin's going to let her go team because he's gotten so good. And Tola lived here before he jumped on Annie's super team. So I was like, oh, he could
We're
be
bringing
fun
Justin
to
on to
train
get
with
part
as
of the
well.
conversation.
Oh man. That's awesome.
Oh, Justin, we can't hear you. Try going to your settings and possibly adjusting your microphone. Good, Carrie. This is your moment. We can't hear Justin, so you just keep talking.
Right? Yeah, I mean those are like the immediate like people, but like I said, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Team Power Abs Underdogs. Got it. See you next year.
Team Power Abs
There you go.
Underdogs.
Right. We already got
No,
a
not
name.
yet,
with that.
Justin.
There you go.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of lip reading. Just shaking his head.
Oh man.
All right,
Yeah.
we can have you jump off and jump back on, and we'll see if it works, Justin. Carrie, what's up for the rest of the weekend? Are you staying through Monday? What are the plans?
I'm gonna be at the Power Apps booth in Vendor Village most of the day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I actually head home Sunday night. So I went to Chicago for a few days before, so I'll be gone for a little over a week. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go home on Sunday night because I know, like usually the games are very exciting. You meet a lot of people, but they also get to be very tiring.
I can only imagine. Do you feel like when are people really shot from the games?
Usually, like, I think Monday morning is always like when I woke up and I was just like, thank goodness I don't have to compete today. Cause it just like the toll it takes on your nervous system, it does you in. Physically, you obviously are sore, you're kind of trash, but just like, I don't know, when I woke up on Monday, like I remember, especially in 2020, I'm like, oh man, I like can barely get out of bed to like get the energy up to go to the airport to fly home. So Monday is definitely like when it hits the athletes, I always think.
Sure. Okay, well, Carrie, we will look for your booth if fans are looking for you. They'll see you around just in a different location, not on the competition floor this year.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, good luck to all the athletes. It's fun watching and I'm excited to continue to watch. And thanks for having me.
Thanks, Carrie.
Later, bud.
Bye.
All right, Cotler. Oh, man.
Break my heart.
I hate technology. This is such a shame. Are you on hotel Wi-Fi? What is going on?
I know, it doesn't even look like he's got headphones in.
Oh, he's a hooligan.
Cotler, we know we've had you on before, so we know it's not you, it's us. Or maybe it's the internet gods.
Oh, what a bummer. I think he said he's going to try back.
Yeah, we'll try you back in a bit. In the meantime, we are going to bring in Dave Newman. He's the founder and CEO of RX Smart Gear. Good to have you, Dave.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
So we want to go backwards a little bit and talk about the event from yesterday with the double under crossover. I forget what it was called.
Dave, what's the actual name? I know there's a Dave Newman name for this thing.
We just call it a double under with a cross,
Okay. Okay.
Pretty
Well, so
straightforward.
here's my question was, because I saw you guys send out the new ropes, and it looked like you had a lot of fun putting them together. Cases were awesome, and they were individual for the games athletes. And that was like a thing. I saw Dallin, DB getting some work in with the crossover, and it was just, did they steal that from you? Is that what they were doing? Did they steal the Dave program and seeing how it went kind of on the competition floor? Or did you guys have the kind of tip of the cap?
No, actually, we've just been lobbying for and promoting, just to try and expand the conversation of what people are doing with the jump rope, right? People are in CrossFit, everything is straight wire, learn double unders, and then they pretty much call it a day. And frankly, we've been lobbying for quite a long time. Actually, it's funny. Legend of a games athlete actually messaged or posted recently. We were teaching her how to do doubles with a cross several years ago at the Mid-Atlantic. So it's something that we've been playing around with and pushing out there for a while. And we know that CrossFit has been like kind of teasing about triple unders for years. 17, and they still haven't. I have a feeling it has something to do with judging, and so that a double with a cross is such a cool move and actually pretty easy to, I think easier to learn than a triple under. I just think it takes a little bit more coordination. So I started pushing for it, and any athletes that are kind of aligned with us, athletes anymore, we stopped doing that, but we have a lot of relationships, and said, hey, we really think you should play with these, and it'll just make you a better athlete, regardless.
So what is the technique behind it? Is it like how high you jump, where you put your legs? Is it the certain type of rope? What are some of like the tips if people at home want to try?
Yeah, great question. So basically, it's literally under where you leap in the air, the rope moves around your body twice. Choose whether you want to cross the first rotation, and then we call it open the second rotation, or flip that. You could do open on the first rotation, then you come back out of it, and then you just repeat. So I think there was a lot of confusion on social media that people thought athletes were doing something different and getting judged differently. The visual or the optics of the two are very different. It's easier to do a open on the first rotation, cross on the second. Easier to do, but it doesn't look as cool and as fluid as crossing a second. So you kind of, I recommend learning both. They're both great, just in case just like Josh Bridges back in 2011, you got to do forward double unders at regionals. Anybody wrong? So it'd be good to learn both.
So then what were the judges looking for to decide whether it was a rep or a no rep? The timing of where they crossed their arms?
No, they literally had to be in the air, make two rotations, and had to cross. Simple as that. Like once you can do them, they're super easy. And I think judges were just getting a little bit confused and weren't trained probably enough to like know what to look for. But I know there was some Danielle Brandon's crosses, and her judge was giving her a lot of no pressure, her agent, and said that she was getting a lot of no reps. So I can watch the live multiple times and recounted her reps. I think where he was confused is just that she was basically the reps that she was making, that was doing an open on the first rotation, crossing on the second one, and then when she do a couple of single unders, when she was stringing them together, she would do a couple of single unders, just throwing her judge off. There's no repping her, and rightfully so, she was getting frustrated here that she appealed a lot of those reps and got a lot of them back. So, I'm glad she did that. But yeah, it was super cool to see people fit. Yeah, it's not that hard to learn. You just got to expose yourself to some of these things.
Oh, no.
You say it's not that hard to learn, but we watch so many high-level games athletes struggling. Were you surprised to see not more athletes pick it up so quickly?
Yes and no. So it was really sprung on them, and I was, because I ran into Boz at one of I made the lobby, and I've been doing that for years. If you guys don't know me, like, I lobby Dave Castro heavy ropes in the game.
No, not you.
And he finally, the last year in Carson, and they finally put in heavy ropes in that event, and I think the team had to use it, and they didn't use our rope; they used red, but they finally put heavy ropes in, and then I lobbied him for another year, drag rope in, and he finally, because they're just cool tools, right? Like, it just adds another challenge and difficulty, and if you're not exposing yourself to all these different type of stimuli, you're gonna fail at the limitations of your experiences. So to Boz, and I said, Boz, I think a double under with a cross is an old school boxing move. For boxers, it's like their basic move, and and it would be a great progression rather than a triple under. A triple under, I think they're just a little be judged. So I was super surprised that they showed up this year. I mean, he was very to the conversation, but super surprised that he put him in this year. I thought they would on the main site for the next year leading up to next season, right?
Yeah, well, that leads into the simple and effective thing, right? Like, with just the kind of peak of the methodology. But so if you lobbied them, did they consult with you on kind of what to look for to judge, or did they just kind of, hey man, thanks for the idea, and run out with it?
Neither of those, honestly. Yeah, no, didn't consult at all, and didn't think. Literally, it was a 5-10 minute conversation with Boz, standing, at the syndicate, and it was just a nice exchange, and I just gave him my 2 cents, just consider, and he said, yeah, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of gaps. What athletes are training, they kind of get tunnel vision, and frankly, that's 14 years, religiously, and I see that. Like, we encountered people in the gyms, and whether it's a new athlete or a games athlete, everybody just kind of gets rut of like, okay, I have my double unders, I have my speed rope, I'm good, and they just check out. And more that you could be doing for training, right? And just to challenge yourself. So to answer your question, they it was a nice exchange with Boz, but it wasn't hey, thanks for the an interesting suggestion, and totally surprised. I've seen some of the chat on social media that they thought we knew and we leaked, and I have to reiterate, like, I'm a private for-profit business, just trying as many people exposed to our product as possible, and our team.
For-profit, baby.
And they didn't pay me. Like,
awesome. Well, Dave, thank you so much for giving us some insight. I think that was really interesting, and we all need to start practicing, apparently.
Well,
especially you, Dex.
You wait till
no,
next year. I promise you. I know this year a lot of people were disappointed at failing, but next year they're just going to all crush it, and it's an evolution.
Well, that's because they're going to come to the booth the elaborate jump rope education that Dave gives at every RX Smart Gear booth. I've witnessed it. It's great.
Thanks, Dex. Appreciate it.
Dave, thank you so much for your time and coming on the show. We'll be looking forward to seeing what other crazy things you create as the sport continues to grow and the evolution.
Thanks for having me, guys. Super fun.
Excited, bud.
It's so funny that he is just like, oh yeah, it's easy with a little bit of practice.
I know. I'm dreading working on these.
If you
Yeah.
saw him do it and teach it to people, it's like, it's not disrespectful. It's just people that, professionals make it look easy. He's one of them. He's a good teacher. It's really cool to watch.
He certainly is. Okay. We have Justin Cotler. He's outside now.
Maybe.
Oh, he's got cool shades on, but with no audio.
Talk to me, big dog.
Oh, Cotler.
Breaking my heart.
The freeze frames are good, though. You look great. Thanks.
The freeze frames are good. Oh, so sad.
Okay, Cotler, this is what we're going to do. Before the end of day tomorrow, I'm going to work with you, and we're going to figure out how to get your audio for either tomorrow or later in the weekend, because we got to get you on. All right, until next time. We're like, bye. Okay, so we were talking about mostly the individual athletes when we were looking at the leaderboards. We are still waiting for some finalizations, but we want to bring in one of our stats guys, Tyler Watkins. He's here with us. You're looking at some different numbers from today and heading into tomorrow. What do you got for us?
So yesterday, we are nice. We should have been yesterday. So yesterday was a little bit gymnastics heavy, and we learned a lot. So I got a tip to look Elizabeth versus 2B today. So if you take the top three finishers in the male, G and Mertens, they got 35th, 24th, and 29th going down. Two different tests, gymnastics, and then strength with 2B today. Same thing, and look your way up. So, now we're rounded out. Yesterday, we tested for one thing, and now we got a better balanced view of the leader. To see that, there's been a few athletes I've been watching, a few standout. I can't believe she's holding on like she has. She's really impressed me. O'Brien, that, and then we're gonna move on into tomorrow. That's what I'm really excited to see.
So you said O'Brien is who you're really surprised about?
Yes. So she performed. If you look at a lot, did well in the gymnastics, in gymnastics piece in Elizabeth in 2B, but she performed like a strength athlete. Not one of her more notable. She's weak. Just saying she's not one of the amongst the strongest in the field, even though she pulled off a third in 2. So yeah, she's moving like a big girl now. So yeah, and then tomorrow will be excited to hear Dex's take on the Capitol tomorrow. For those that are together, and I would be excited going into this one because Dex hates 3.5 mile runs.
Hey, that's
be able to make a gap.
That's old Dex.
What's new, Dex?
I've got a people of Heft running clubs. Okay, so we're into the trots now for sure. But that one is more. It's big person loaded on the front, big person loaded on the back. And like if you turned up the hill and going toward the Capitol, it's hills, right? And 200 and a 150 is the load for that. That is not a slouch weight for a 200-meter carry. 200 feet, okay, we'll go crazy and maybe walk fast. But 200 meters, it's going to take a little planning, like especially after pushing that 3.5. So, yeah, I wouldn't love it, but the bookends of that workout, that'd be great. I mean, you got to express your aerobic capacity stuff, and I'd love to hear Henshaw's take on kind of flushing and all that stuff and strategy. But the front and back end of that, man, I think it favors a power athlete. So if you're a power athlete that is aerobic and you got a good step for your run, then you can have a good finish on the back end. Because I mean, there's 400 meters of strongman work after the run, so I mean, there's a lot of time to be made up on that, especially if I can keep you within striking distance on the run.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, I'm curious from what you've seen today, especially with the weightlifting portion of the jerks. Were there any specific numbers or metrics that you were tracking that you found interesting that will help people kind of guide their way through the rest of the week when they're looking at different storylines and numbers to watch?
Yeah, I found it interesting. A lot of women, a lot seemed like they just took an L on the 2A. They were like, I'm just not going to worry about the runs of the jerk. Same thing with the guys. They seem to say, I'm just gonna focus. The other thing was Jason. So Jason was in a bad spot yesterday, 32nd day, and then now he's in 17th. I know the leaderboard's kind of wacky at the moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he took a 12th and a 3rd from what I've seen so far. So that was really consistent, really good. Hopper, I was a little worried about Hopper, but yesterday wasn't built for him. So going qualities like that in an athlete where you can say, Roman was really big, still performed really well. He was 5th at the end of the day yesterday and going in 3rd today. So those are tomorrow. The type of body is an important thing. So those are the stats that I'm looking at. Do they have long arms? That's going to help with the 3.5 mile run. And then it's also got mass moves mass in the pig flip. And then, if you have big hands, it's going to help in the jerry bag. And so, if Dex and I are going down, competing in this, I'm the Hirsch felt because I got little bitty short arms and he's got bigger arms than I do.
So in between the heats, maybe before or after everybody does that, are you guys going to throw down?
No. No, we're not.
Dex is like podcast.
The only strongman stuff I'm doing this week is carrying around too much camera stuff.
Okay.
And emotional stress. But we, I think the Husafeld thing kind of rules that out, dude, because it tapers down. And so if you get a good lap and grip, then, that's just going to be a time under tension. Like, what do you got left kind of in your, in the old heart tank. So, but the bags, right? If you go to, it's what they carried at Rogue. So it's not going to be that old school jerry can from like 2011 or 12. Can't remember when they had that event on the field in Carson, but it's a different kind of bag Rogue makes. I don't think it has like a solid handle. So it's not something crazy, but that's just like the evolution of the gear, like, for logistics and all that stuff. And then kind of ease of use in and out. I'm interested to see how that goes, but that 200-meter carry up a hill and then upstairs, these are gonna be the best pictures and like bloopers of the whole week. Like, I'll say that about it. So it'll be crazy to watch.
Yeah, so
like helping, looking good, Tyler, doing good.
Steal my spot. So the metrics I'm really looking at, a grinder. Brent Fikowski's really good at that. He genuinely well at longer distance events like this, grinders, stuff that you just gotta be. Those are the type of stats that I'm looking at. I think athletes to watch tomorrow are Barnhart and Horvath. Horvath is built for this workout. She's not bad. Same thing. Now, if they don't perform well, that's going to tell a lot about the rest of the weekend.
I'm going the other way. I got Aramo destroying this if she handles the pig well. If she goes into the run feeling good about herself, that's a good couple of movements for her, especially the back end. So just knowing like the conjugate background and stuff she did to kind of wrap around the strengths to when she actually was making waves.
I never discount Ramos. She's way stronger than she. So yeah, she's
O'Connell.
She's really great and O'Connell. So she's also someone who could just put her head to the grind. So that's those are the stats that I'm looking at and how I'm looking at tomorrow.
Okay, Tyler, we're going to see how it shapes up. You'll be back for more numbers, all the stats that you need to know. And we'll see you then.
See you.
4th time is the charm.
Come on, big dog.
Come on. Yeah!
Oh, that's
Patience
great.
is a virtue. We got
Nice.
to work.
So you just all you needed to do is have our video audio guy figure the fucking thing out. I'm so challenged So anyway, sorry about that, guys. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
You still hear
Cotler,
me?
how are you feeling? Are you stressed? Are you relaxed?
Have you eaten today, Cotler?
What I did, I ate breakfast and I just had a little something, but I feel pretty good, honestly. It's day 2, you know. I feel like I've been here so, you know, perfect. Feeling good though.
Man, Ricky, at least from the leaderboard right now, again, it doesn't look like things are completely finalized, but he's in first, man. That's got to be feeling good.
Yeah, I think they need to fix it. I according to my eyes and our spotters, etc. I think so. I think he took second in a run and third on the jerks. 61, I'm pretty sure. But I think he probably stretched his lead pretty significantly. I think he's got to be up by 50 points at least. Yeah, he's pretty good.
What do you think as far as like events come up, man? Like, were you expecting him? Is he over or underachieving for you right now? And kind of like, what was the expectation with you guys? I mean, you know, you're one of my favorite people to watch, Coach, and he's one of my favorite stories coming into the year. And even with like the experience being kind of limited this year, you know, what's the over under on how he's doing so far?
He is doing, I would say he's doing incredibly well. Is at the moment super relaxed. I mean, honestly, it's so nice to see the difference between now and Torian, because he wasn't eating, and it was a scenario where, like, I was very concerned, honestly, after the first. So
No, you were stressed. You were stressed at the MAC. I remember.
yeah, I was. Honestly, so far, I think he's doing what we kind of expected. It was last night with Bring, but you know, it obviously did very well. And I'm not sure that I expected that jerk workout to go as well as it did, honestly. We knew the run would go well, guys. I mean, come on, he's a great runner. I think it just the way that they set it up was really nice in the sense you had to go you got rewarded for running fast, you had a little extra time, so that the standard setup was really solid for him, and if you get those opportunities, you got to take advantage, and he did, you know, he did, and you can see that the confidence is really growing. You can see that energy, you know, building, and when you start to feel that momentum rolling, I think I think you can see, you know, when things start rolling well, you know what I mean, and when things don't go well, it can go the other way. So right, we're going to try to keep it rolling. Obviously, the Capitol is a daunting test, but I think it's one that's for him with the 3.5 mile run, and it's super grindy, and he excels with those type of workouts. And so I think, you know, I think he's excited, and right now, man, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to see Cotler hanging over the rail yelling in the Coliseum. So that's what
I always look at
Cotler
Cotler when his athletes are working out. I look to see where Cotler is versus the
100%.
athletes.
It's more fun to watch Cotler than the athletes sometimes.
No, dude, it's,
I try to keep it a little. It's day 2, and I try to keep. It's tough like this.
Yep.
Spectating, yeah, exactly. And spectating is tough. We you know, especially like North Park, you don't get to watch anything, can't see anything, because by the time you warm up, you know where to sit. So for us right now, like it's definitely it's stressful, and you're pacing and this and that. The Coliseum, at least they walk you up and pass, but the rest of the spots, it's really hard to watch. So tell you what, guys, I think right now, as far as Ricky goes, we're in a great spot. We need him to be in the mix all weekend. But Dex, to your previous question, I think he's even performing a little better than I expected. I mean, I think he's
he's
peaking,
a gamer, man.
and I think he's dangerous. He looks dangerous right now. Yeah,
that's how I felt. Well, he looked comfortable, man, and he was playing the game in that one. And like, I don't think of him as a power athlete. He's a strong guy, and we know he can run and do the machine thing, like the bases there. But it looked like he was really focused in the game, but was flowing at the same time. It looked really good. Like he took some chances on the shoulder overhead, and it paid off, and he did really well. So yeah, man, the momentum build will be really cool to see. I'm rooting for the guy.
Really, it went to plan in the sense that we talked about obviously, but really trying to stay on a pace for the jerk, trying to make sure that you pick that bar up before the time, because you could roll. So just making sure you got that extra rep at the end of huge. And if you notice, a couple of them, you picked them up right at like 358, 359, and time was, the 58, 59, and he hit the jerk, and it might have rolled over, but it get a couple of extra reps there. And then obviously running fast, the run was even more important. So yeah, I think he's thinking well out for him and well, and I'm expecting it to continue.
Yeah, he's got a good team behind him, man. And so switching gears, I expect him to do well, especially if you're willing to work through 4 years of that stuff. But switching gears to like Alex's first games, how's she doing, man? Like she looks like she's doing well and having fun. So what's the plan for her this weekend, kind of expectation wise?
Yeah, honestly, we didn't really execute the best that we could on every single workout. So on each workout, I thought she did that actually on the bike workout. She fell at the bottom of the pegboard going for a touch and go, and that we wanted to go touch and go, and she just slipped out and fell, and that in a speed challenge like that where you're moving, that was it for that. So that was a mistake. It was a little bit of bad because she was if you looked, she was basically timing down off that first pegboard, and I think she would have easily made it in the top 20. And then last night, I think it was a case of being, where you see the rookie, some of the rookie mistakes come in with, transitions, because you are doing really well in your heat, but then you eat one, and like there's 3 more heats coming, and a couple of those where you take 4 of those transitions where you walked instead of jogged, and that's 12, and right there, that probably in an event like last night, that's probably spots on the leaderboard, right? So you're giving up those points, and that is the difference in the first heat versus the second heat. So you're just trying to. So these are little things about, and I thought she did very well today. I thought she maximized the workout today. To the grindy workouts tomorrow. We also got fitted for a yoke, so I know she's happy about that. She'll put on the yoke, as is Ricky. We did a ton of that stuff coming in here, and I think she will be around for the whole weekend. I'd up and get settled in, and be able to complete the weekend and make the cut and stuff. The biggest thing for me is for her to just learn. There's no substitute for experience. So weekend for her, and I think her trajectory over the next 2 years is massive. So
didn't she bench 300 in quarterfinals?
And we stopped her.
She is country strong. Country strong.
Yeah, country. The 250, her strict press. Man, if they had to switch that thing to strict press, oh my God. She got 170.
There was some broken hearts.
170 pound strict press. So that would have.
Good God.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's.
Well, that's an anomaly thing, man.
But, yeah. She's got some home runs, man.
Yeah, no, and she looks like she's having the most fun. She's kind of a gentle soul, so it's cool to see her do well. We asked Carrie, knowing you guys have just like a zoo of monsters at Camp Rhino. And so joking with her, trying to get her out of retirement, she's talking about seeing the sights, and asked her if she was getting the itch. And I said, who is Justin going to let you pick to do teams? Like, do you get to come in and Red Rover them right over, or does Justin get to pick? So who if you got to pick in-house, who gets to go team next year? So we got somebody in almost every division.
Yeah. Well, first of all,
we got to hear it. Come on.
Look, Carrie earned the right to help me make that decision. There's no question about that. I know Alex get along really, really well. And Carrie, twice, I think if she asked Alex, that Alex would do it in a second. But I think that would be sound and talk about, and try to decide, kind of put pros and cons on it. I wouldn't necessarily rule it out right away because of how young she is. I still think that experience could be potentially for her. But if it wasn't Alex, I'm not sure. I think Carrie and I would sit down and, it's possible there, or maybe it's somebody who might eventually become. So, you never know.
So are there already like talks in the works for something like this?
I haven't even gotten Carrie. So I would never push her. She's earned the right with her career to be able to whenever, if she decides to come back, I think, I don't think that it's a stretch to say that there are probably a lot of people who would want to be on a team. So I think it'd be very possible that, Carrie and I might, see who's kind of in between decisions, or, in between, it's just kind of looking at their careers and seeing maybe people who might want to do that, people in our camp, and see, but I certainly, that would be something that I would, powwow. Listen, I'll tell you right now, I would do backflips. Well, I would do something to celebrate if Carrie came back, because Carrie is, there are very few Carrie Pierces. Let's just put it that way. And she is, well, but that's why I would never crush her. The thought of it is very exciting.
All I can see is her, Maddie D, and either Carrie doing partner deadlifts, and what that would look like.
Oh, man, that would be pretty funny. Yeah, that would be pretty. 5'2" and 6'4". Yeah, that.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. It'd be a good day for Matt.
That's true.
Well, Cotler, thank you so much for getting the audio fixed. We're glad that we could finally get you on.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
No, we just now can't wait. Now that we have a couple days under our belt, we can't wait to see crazy Cotler, but like the good kind of crazy, in the stands, by the Capitol, going crazy for his athletes. That's what we're here for.
Can't wait.
Good. Well, I'm to you.
Thanks, Cotler. We'll see you later.
Yes, thank you.
Later, bud. I love that guy.
Man, yeah, if any photographers are watching right now and they don't know who to look for in the stands, well, we just gave you a great tip.
No, I got it, boys. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, Dex, I forget that
the money shot.
Yeah. He's like, I'm all over it.
Him and Tia, when she choked slam Saxon at Mac. It was great.
That's funny.
We love to see that. Okay, so some other storylines that we're going to move to. First, I want to just talk a little bit about Emily Rolfe. We got some more details about her injury. She was in surgery. We knew that. She did post something to her Instagram. This was actually a photo that our own Ava Kitsy at Morning Chalk Up shot, but she posted that, she's obviously devastated. She went into surgery. And kind of scary. Dex, I'm curious, on your take with what happened to her. It was she had a slight strain in her bicep prior to the games. She had some treatment that was going on and there was some discomfort, but nothing more than a strain or a pull. When you're going into the games with an injury, how do you think that like affects your mindset for just going into the first day if you know if you're going to be okay or not?
You see it a lot. I mean, you don't want to see or you don't want to feel like there's anything that makes you, be hesitant for anything. I think that's what it is. I mean, you come in and the first event is I'm death gripping a bike. And most people were, right? If you're experienced on a bike, you saw them kind of trying to be relaxed like Haley was. And there was a few people you could noticeably see death gripping the bike. And then you have to come back in and what? Well, now we're death gripping for toes to bar for just a bit. I mean, 75 in one set, that's a lot. And then I get back on the bike for the same thing. So there was no rest for that if it wasn't an experience. So coming in knowing I have any kind of arm staying up or downstream from that elbow is not something that, would have sat easy in my mind.
Well, and if you look just at the coloring of her arm, and on her post, she said,
you can actually see it.
Yeah, you can. Wow. You can see it. I don't know like how big everybody's screens are. We're on a laptop right now, but by the second bike, her whole left arm was numb, and I knew something was very wrong. She finished 14th. As soon as she got off the field, she went straight to the doctor, examined her left arm, her left hand. You can see is totally blue, cold to the touch. She had some motor function, but obviously something felt off. An ultrasound showed that unfortunately she had to medically withdrawal. And the hospital basically said that she had 2 blood clots. That I can't even imagine what went on in her mind as she's hearing that, but my heart just goes out to her. That's something just so serious. And to go into the event thinking that, oh, it's just like a minor strain, something that you've been dealing with. And then to hear that, it's just, it just breaks your heart.
Well, it's rough when it's anything like, because everybody does body work, right? These guys are professionals and she's a contender, right? They're probably going to study more than just her arm if she still got 14th with a blue arm. So, I mean, it's, I can't imagine what that felt like. And then like having to grit your teeth through it. But in my brain, when they said it and emergently I've had, it happened to Matt Chan. He had a mountain bike accident before the games. I can't remember what year that was, but it was compartment syndrome, just an impact thing to where blood pools in a part of your leg or, whatever extremity it is. And that is an insane surgery. Like it's, 2 scalpels, drag it and drain it. So, you don't get crazy tissue damage, but I'd be interested to see what comes out, like kind of if they can figure out what caused that. But I mean, any kind of throwing a blood clot is terrifying. So, heart goes out to her. But yeah, she is a tough lady. I hope they did more than that scan to an ultrasound to see what what's going on in there, because gritting through that where I can visibly see her arm is blue. Yeah, that's terrifying. But yeah, that lady's tough. But I mean, like I said yesterday, you don't want to see somebody put all the work in, the year of sacrifice and hard work it takes to get there, and then have to come out for something that just like, it's kind of, I don't know if it's a freak accident or freak just happening, but it sucks that that's what takes her out.
Well, and speaking of that, another athlete that had a medical withdrawal today was in the Masters division, Sam Dancer. He was projected to potentially be on the podium. We've interviewed him before. He's always been, this games athlete that people just love to watch. But this year was the year that he was really all in. When talking with him, between the nutrition dialing in, even some lifestyle habits, moving, being away from his family for an extended amount of time, seeing him withdrawal after putting so much in. And we know that all of the other athletes are putting, their whole heart and soul in, but just seeing this was, again, our heart just goes out to him. But for him, I think, sorry, I'm just reading. I remember we were talking about it. I just want to make sure that we have the right
torn bicep.
Yeah. Yes, due to a torn bicep. So he competed in the first event. Then that's when, we didn't see him any further, but just heart goes out to him and his family and all of the hard work. We hope to see him down the line too.
Definitely. I'm bummed about that. I was really excited to see Sam compete.
And it's not even just like as an athlete, like Sammy's a good person to have like in the space. Like he's a light everywhere he goes. I mean, you can see if he's at any kind of booth or just there. I've never seen him say no to a hug. And it's, if you've ever done it, you got sore ribs after, because he's a 10 out of 10 hugger. But I love Sammy. And last year, like not even just that he was going to come compete, he like proclaimed, hey, first year in 35, 39, I'm standing on top of the mountain. And you can see I think a lot of people put in the work. We can say that about everyone, but Sammy's really visible about it or public with it, especially this year. And I know they've renovated a house. They have baby Star and Jen, and so they keep a lot of pots on the stove, so to speak. He's been at the Rocky Mountain House of Fitness with Bickle, going through camp. So there's no doubt the guy was prepared. And same thing with Emily. Like, you hate to see, something that just steals a whole year from him when you're projected to do so well. And he did. Man, the guy looked great. Just looks like he's carved out of a mountain. And if you know him, crazy strong and look crazy aerobic. And so just guy was the fittest this year. And I hate we're not going to get to see him express it.
Yeah, I think so too. So speaking of the age group divisions, we are going to bring in one of our experts who's been closely watching some of the age groups. We have Xander Phallic. Our expert. How's it going, Xander?
That's what we're going with. I'm doing great, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, so we'll kind of stick with Sam Dancer's age group. What are some of the storylines that you're watching, or some of like the notable things that you've seen, especially now with Sam Dancer out of the mix?
Absolutely. So starting with like 35 to 39, since that's where we're at, it's really who Roy Gamboa, indie athlete, I've been there for, and then he's been doing really well. Like, he really seemed, especially on the first, like, is with what events they're doing, but they did essentially a 1,400, 1,200, 1,000, and then it was like a descending ladder of rope climbs and shouldered overhead. And he just seemed like it was like veteran of the game from individual, and just came in, took first. Also in the 35 to 39 division, just like Craig Kenny, games veteran from the individual days, and the early teens. And so just like, it's going to be a really cool race, especially with the events coming up. But also on the female side, it was cool because like the 35 to 39s at the end to hopefully keep some. But if we go to the female side, the big friend of the community, China Cho.
Yeah, China.
She's in second place right now.
Yeah.
So like, that's always a great thing to kind of see, especially with like, hey, are we? And then Carleen Matthews, another games athlete, like those kinds of things that are out there, and just seeing like the workout for tomorrow. But they're doing Elizabeth with parallels, like just the parallel bars. So they got to do squat cleans. They're not dipping, but they're going to end up doing a version of Elizabeth, and then a bunch of muscle. Man, they have a terrible workout on Saturday to open it up. So it's going to be a good time. It's just a really terrible version of with jerry can carries in between rounds. 21 or 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 with a jerry can carries in between, about to explode. But I'm excited about that. And then I think really like one of that, for people that have followed the age group divisions for a while, the 45 to 49 division, with currently leading, again, I'm shameless plug for Misfit Athletics. I'm just not even going to shy away from it. He's been on like second place for a couple years now, and he's gone all in from there. Just seeing like how he's like Grubb's really been the guy. Just kind of like, he's in third right now, so not far at all. Justin LaSala on the veteran on that side. And then also, if you're a comp trained person, you may know who seventh place, which is really great. But also, like, workout wise, opening it up, then they all went inside to do 5 minutes max calories seat for most of us at home. If you're a gym or a garage gym owner, that's terrible. Into
Sanders watched me do that workout. It was terrible.
You did that one?
Yeah. I casually rode a 1K in between his 5 minutes, which is really slow for the people watching at home.
Yeah. Well, no, dude, Justin Saul is like a veteran. Like, we don't talk about that a lot, but him, Potter, Verpazzi from New England. They're good athletes. But it's like talking about China and people coming out of like the open division or the team division like China did, or you've been so good for so long. It makes me happy that they're making the transition. They're sticking with it, right? Because we're seeing young kids come into the open division now, and I'm glad it's not just putting people out and they're moving through the age division. So we get to see that, right? Because I think back in the day it was, can you do the skills to a certain extent for age group people? And, with the addition of 35 to 39, and then now these people are moving through. So I've got these years of trying to move well and do it at volume, and maybe I've taken a step back with just the overall volume I'm doing, and you still get to come express it at a high level. It's really cool to see that.
Yeah.
That's hanging the hat up.
Especially with like to that move to Hawaii, took some volume off after taking a step back with the Mayhem Nation, and just kind of seeing how that goes, which is really great. And then another games veteran that probably is really under the radar right now is Becca Voigt. She's in the floor, but it's also great just to see, like, it's not just games veterans, but it's like they're not to keep bringing him up, but he's just such a good dude. People kind of just like make that push, and it's like, hey, if you want to and like you have the skills, like you can perform at a very high level if you're willing to put the time and the work in.
Oh yeah, the longevity,
and really like we haven't. Yep, and then we also have to get to age group. Also talks about the teenagers. Can't just talk about the elderly. We got
the professional, the expert.
God. But on the teen side, like so it was just cool to see at all 40 start the day, essentially, and like just seeing like Olivia Kerstetter. Oh no.
Yeah.
16 to
She's
17.
a boss.
Yikes. Like if she like, so last year unabashed, like did not do well on the long event, especially the aerobic capacity, and then the other athlete in there, Sophie Shaft, she just came back. Boy, God love Soph. Did not seem like she enjoyed the first event, and absolutely hammered down on event 2.
Yeah, and then takes first in the second 2 events.
Which is like, is that gonna like keep her in second? Can she call that goes? Like those are gonna be some fun storylines to see. And then like James Townsend, also only exclusively shooter Magda, he's got Kevin Hill in the 14 to 15 division as well right now. First year at the games, like, so there's a lot of like up and comers that can like excited to see Olivia obviously coming out next year, but like there's a lot of cool, like great, especially on the age group and adaptive divisions coming through for the rest of the weekend.
I think Olivia's like she's the last of the girls that could compete elite. Like last year it was Mal and Emma. And that's what breaks my heart. Emma wasn't able to do it this year, but like Olivia is one that could make the jump, especially strength wise. That is not a hole she has to fill. But like Xander's saying, big leap in like the capacity stuff, and that's what Jacob was known for. And obviously the longer they spend together, the more she's going to soak that stuff up. So that's exciting. And Sophie, like,
watch Jacob get crushed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Sophie snatches 200 pounds for fun regularly. Like, and a gymnastics monster. So like she's only going to get better as the experiences grow. So it's I don't want to say old guard going out, but there's a lot of new young folks coming through hot.
Yeah. Didn't you ask her like when she's going to clean 3 responded with this weekend?
She's so fast. She's stronger than Sherb now, for sure. She's stronger than Sherb now.
Sherb's got 3 athletes. He's got to go between Roy, got his assistant coach, Kenzie Rupp program, and all of us. And so she's assistant coaching this weekend. People got hands full of, I don't even know if Sherb knows what's going on right now.
Yeah, they're running around.
Well, Xander, thanks for bringing us up to speed on some of the age groups. There's going to be a lot to watch for the rest of the weekend. We'll keep in touch.
Yeah. Perfect. Appreciate you guys.
Expert.
It's crazy because tomorrow, Friday, so everybody competes again. We have another day. Well, and Saturday, because Saturday will be the last day of age group.
Yep.
Yeah,
Masters
they do the podium stuff in the beer
and
garden.
adaptive.
Is that the beer garden this year? It's not the beer garden. It's a recovery zone.
Yes.
Yeah, the recovery zone, not the beer garden. It's one and the same.
It's one and the same. So I'm going to go back to the individual leaderboard. I just want to see if we're curious.
I've heard there's some discrepancies that
Presley's got the latest. What have you heard?
well, just in reading the comments, it sounds like there's been some changes to the leaderboard, but that some things are still not quite adding up. So I wouldn't say that it's totally official yet.
Okay. Yes, because it looks like the placing for the
It looks
men.
like some placing has changed, but there's still some things that don't
Here.
seem quite right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this all looks the same to me. The first couple.
Yep.
At least like 1 through 10. Still looks the same, so possibly some more updates, and we'll just dip over to the women really quick.
It is insane to me, Mal and Emma leading the field. This is crazy.
Right?
Ariel Lowen crushed the last one. Her and Danielle Brennan looked really good. And even Haley, like for, we're talking about making strides with like Kernstetter. Like Haley doing well in a 200-pound shoulder overhead event. Granted, like she's a weapon running for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's, capacity-wise, she's been there. She's on the traditional like strength gap kind of transition to the open thing. She's obviously not killed her so bad. She's been crushing for years, but to take a good score in that one, like that's scary going forward.
So when we are looking at going into tomorrow, what are the storylines that both of you are going to be following, or what are you most interested in?
P.
Ladies first.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to see. I think with the leaderboard shakeups we've had, like we talked about yesterday, scoring the laps and then having a delay in that, moving the event to today. Now we're having a little bit of leaderboard shakeup today. Hopefully that we get all of that resolved tomorrow. I know that it's really exciting to see who wins, when they win, and then see how that affects the leaderboard shortly after. So I'm looking forward to just seeing, I think some people, like Tia coming in with some vengeance. There's some people that are newer that are trying to hold on to those leads. So I'm just really excited to see the leaderboard continue to shake up into tomorrow and then hopefully not have any issues with that.
No, sorry, I want to see Ricky keep running that race. And that's what, like, no matter what happens or how it shuffles, the fact that it is shuffling and it is not like Justin running away with it or Tia running away with it, it's already like a W in the column for me, like spectator wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's today I think was rougher because we talked about yesterday, like, oh, it's a short event, it's yada, yada, yada. But that heat zaps you. So there's no telling how that's going to affect people, especially having a long event tomorrow. Talking about the details of it, like how people's camps are handling their nutrition, their recovery and stuff like that. So, I'll be interested to see how, because I did not think today would affect people, but I stood out in that sun, so I can't imagine running on that turf.
It was hot.
I know we were all dripping with sweat, and we did not work out at all today.
I got that Arizona blood, and I was hot. The
turf is so much hotter than where we were standing, so I can't imagine running and then putting 80+% over my head for reps. So if they did not leave and start to recover immediately and have a protocol for that and somebody leading them through it so it can be this kind of thoughtless, just flow through and get the recovery started, then, it'll show up, right? And then the war of attrition comes into play. And so, it's just an all-encompassing kind of fitness thing. So it's going to be a long weekend.
Lots of fitness still to be had. Day 2 recapped. We still don't have an official leaderboard, but just keep refreshing. That's what we're going to do. And make sure you guys subscribe our channel. We will continue to have these live recaps shortly after events. We try to check the audio beforehand, so it's good for you guys. But,
we do our best.
What can you do? Presley's audio sounds good.
Life happens.
Does ours sound okay?
Yeah, you guys sound great. And I was pretty close to Xander and Tyler, so who knows? Technology, man.
I'm not charged up. But that's what, it's patience, man. Like, folks don't understand, how many new people are running this show and how hard it is to run that show. So, be patient with these people. It's a fun show to watch. The details are going to get worked out. They got cameras everywhere. So, it's, patience, people. It's going to work out.
Dex's last words of the night. Patience, people.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in. Preslie, Dex, thanks for hanging out for another night.
Thanks, guys.
We get to bed a little bit earlier, maybe.
Let's get some food, go to bed, and do it 3 more times.
That's it. That's
Rinse
all.
and repeat.
That's all.
We'll see you guys back here for more tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys.